really hard to see this together, isn't it?
It'll take time.
What?
8 weeks.
8 weeks. You think you can do that?
This gives us a freedom. All you guys watching us. We may only be on you for a minute. Then go to almost anything.
So documentary, like the genre, is built on the appearance of truth, right? You expect a documentary to be factual in a way a fiction film isn't. The problem is, it's kind of hard to be factual. If you think about it, there's a pretty big power disparity between the filmmaker and the viewer. You have to trust them to be accurate, honest, and materialist. But can you? That clip was from the start of Gimme Shelter, a documentary about the Rolling Stones' 1969 US tour, which ended in a disastrous free concert at the Altamont Speedway. From that clip, we can infer that the Stones had very little control over the film. It's the directors, now, who hold the power. The events of the concert aren't foreshadowed as much as they're directly stated in the first few minutes of the film, as the band is shown listening to a radio show discussing them. The film then cuts intermittently between performances on tour, the planning process for the free concert, and everyone's reactions after the fact. The Maysles brothers were hired to film the tour for a planned TV special, so much of the footage was filmed under the precepts of direct cinema. Essentially, it's a documentary technique with no interviews, dramatization, or interference with the subjects. However, their commitment to this technique arguably fell apart after the death of Meredith Hunter at Altamont, which necessitated a restructuring of the whole film. There are a few scenes of the Stones' lawyers going through the process of booking the Speedway for the free concert. This was highly publicized, which explains why these scenes were shot in the first place, but they're very mundane compared to everything else. Had the concert gone smoothly, it seems unlikely these scenes would have made it into the TV special. The same can obviously be said for the scenes of the Stones reacting to cuts of their film or to news stories about their tour. As it stands, these slower moments allow dread to develop. Dramatic irony combines with the sheer reality of it all to create a deep sense of apprehension. But here's the thing, this apprehension is completely separate from the reality of the events on the screen. These events did happen, but here they're arranged in such a way as to build up to the climax at Altamont, when in real life, nobody predicted a stabbing would occur, and the cameraman didn't even notice he'd caught the moment on film. There's a literary technique called side-shadowing, coined as the opposite of foreshadowing. It's the act of including scenes that have no effect on plot in order to eschew the idea that particular endings are inevitable. This helps create and maintain verisimilitude. I'd argue direct cinema documentaries can be understood as a form of large-scale side-shadowing. The absence of this technique is what makes Gimme Shelter feel so artificial. It is remarkably focused with minimal tangents. It feels like a fiction film because it's been structured like one. The reality depicted in the final cut of Gimme Shelter is not that of its subjects, but its audience. It is pure context, an attempt at granting meaning to a tragic and preventable death that nobody saw coming, and yet, to the film's viewers, feels unavoidable. Meredith Hunter's death is given a sense of predestination that is out of whack with actual reality, but perfectly in line with a more ephemeral, emotional reality. But don't get me wrong, I don't think this is a problem. They didn't really have a choice. I mean, you can't make the death a plot twist because everybody already knew about it. It was on the news. That power disparity can't be eliminated, but it can be assuaged. The directors know you know what happens at Altamont, so they don't waste time dancing around it. The footage has been manipulated to create a narrative, but you knew that too. They tell you in the film. And sure, maybe Gimme Shelter isn't as obvious about that as Man with a Movie Camera or Chronique du Net, but I don't think it has to be.